Sometimes real life is scarier than any fictional nightmare. Whilst many horror films are born from pure imagination, some of the most terrifying stories are rooted in reality. And today we're counting down 10 horror films based on true events. From shocking crimes to eerie hauntings, these films will remind you that the truth can be far more disturbing than fiction. Welcome back to Horror Month on WN Movie Talk, and as we dive into these terrifying tales, let me know in the comments which of these movies have chilled you to the bone, or maybe I've missed some great horror titles based on true events which you think deserve recognition. But for now, let's kick off this true horror marathon. Starting our list is The Exorcism of Emily Rose from 2005, a film based on the chilling true story of Anneliese Michel, a young woman from Germany who underwent multiple exorcisms in the 1970s. The film combines courtroom drama with supernatural horror, focusing on the legal battle surrounding Emily's death and whether her possession was real or a result of psychological illness. What makes this film so unnerving is the way it blurs the line between faith and reason, making viewers question if what they are seeing is a supernatural force at work or a tragic misunderstanding. The real-life case of Anneliese Michel has fascinated and terrified people for decades, and the film captures the emotional and physical toll of her alleged possession in a way that lingers even after the movie is finished. Our second film is the Amityville Horror from 1979, and one of the most infamous haunted house stories in American history, based on the alleged experiences of the Lutz family who moved into a house where a mass murder had been committed. Shortly after moving in, the family claimed to experience terrifying paranormal events, from strange noises and foul odours to ghostly apparitions. While the story has been subject to much skepticism, the film adaptation brought the horror of their claims to life, becoming a classic in the genre. Whether or not you believe the Lutz family's accounts, the combination of gruesome crime and supposed hauntings makes this a terrifying tale that has left an indelible mark on horror cinema. Next is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Whilst not a direct retelling of a true story, it was heavily inspired by the real-life crimes of serial killer Ed Gein. Gein's gruesome habits, such as exhuming corpses and creating items from human skin, served as the foundation for the character of Leatherface. The film's raw, brutal depiction of a family of cannibals and the relentless terror inflicted on the protagonist shocked audiences upon release. Although Gein's crimes didn't involve a chainsaw-wielding maniac, his macabre influence can be felt throughout the film, making it all the more horrifying knowing that some of the nightmare had real-life roots. The Conjuring is our fourth film and follows Ed and Lorraine Warren, real-life paranormal investigators, as they help the Perron family confront the dark forces terrorising their farmhouse in the 1970s. The Warrens, who are famous for their involvement in numerous high-profile hauntings, claim that the Perron house was plagued by a malevolent spirit. The film recreates the disturbing events with chilling accuracy, from strange noises to terrifying apparitions. But what makes The Conjuring stand out is its careful balance of suspense and fear, building tension while delivering moments of true horror. The Warrens' cases have been controversial, with some questioning their authenticity, but the film taps into the primal fear of the unknown, making it one of the scariest movies based on real events. Our fifth film is Wolf Creek from 2005. Set in the remote Australian outback, Wolf Creek is based on the real-life crimes of several serial killers, most notably Ivan Milat and Bradley Murdoch. The film follows a group of backpackers who encounter a seemingly friendly local, only to find themselves trapped in a nightmare of violence and terror. Wolf Creek stands out for its stark, brutal realism, capturing the sense of isolation and hopelessness that comes with being lost in the vast, unforgiving wilderness. The knowledge that the film is inspired by true crimes adds an extra layer of dread, making it a harrowing viewing experience. Its gritty, relentless portrayal of human cruelty is a reminder that the most terrifying monsters are not always fictional. As we hit the halfway point, let me remind you to comment below if you've heard of any other real-life horror stories that could make for a great movie. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more unmissable lists and movie recommendations. Film number 6 is The Girl Next Door, which is based on the real-life torture and murder of Sylvia Likens in the 1960s, a crime so horrific that it shocked the entire nation. The film follows two sisters who are subjected to abuse and torment by their aunt and her children, a scenario tragically close to the true events. The film is not for the faint of heart. It's a deeply disturbing portrayal of cruelty and human depravity. What makes The Girl Next Door so terrifying is its realism. It's not a supernatural force or a fictional monster, but ordinary people committing unimaginable horrors. The film forces viewers to confront the terrifying truth of what humans are capable of, making it one of the most unsettling true crime stories ever brought to the screen. Film number 7 is The Entity from 1982. Which tells the horrifying story of Doris Bither, a woman who claimed to have been repeatedly sexually assaulted by an unseen force in her home during the 1970s. The film portrays these attacks with terrifying intensity, focusing on the psychological and physical toll that they take on Bither as she tries to seek help. What makes The Entity so chilling is that it's based on Bither's real-life claims, which were investigated by parapsychologists at the time. While skeptics argue over the truth of her story, the film taps into the primal fear of being powerless against an unseen enemy, and the depiction of her plight makes it one of the more disturbing entries in supernatural horror. Number 8 is Borderland 2007. This lesser known gem is based on the real life case of the Matamoros Coat murders in Mexico during the late 1980s. Borderland follows 3 college students who get caught up in a horrifying and deadly cult when they cross the border for a vacation. The film's gritty and violent nature captures the terrifying reality of this real-life crime syndicate led by a cult leader who performed brutal ritualistic killings. What sets Borderland apart is how grounded it feels. It's not about supernatural forces, but rather about the terrifying, real-world evil that lurks just outside of society. The fear comes from knowing that such horrors truly exist. Number 9, we're moving on to one of the most iconic horror films of all time, The Exorcist from 1973. The Exorcist is loosely inspired by the 1949 exorcism of a young boy known under the alias of Roland Doe. While many details of the case remain shrouded in mystery, reports of supernatural occurrences during the exorcism, such as furniture moving on its own and strange marks appearing on the boy's body, have fueled the legend. The Exorcist takes these real-life elements and cranks the horror up to 11, delivering one of the most terrifying and influential films in the genre. From its shocking scenes of possession to the chilling atmosphere of dread that pervades the entire movie, The Exorcist has rightfully earned its reputation as a horror classic that still has the power to unsettle viewers today. Before we reveal our final film, this is your last chance to like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Have any of these films haunted your nightmares? Have I missed any titles that you think should get a mention? Let me know down below as we dive into our final movie entry. Film number 10, The Strangers from 2008. Inspired by real-life home invasion cases, The Strangers taps into the terrifying fear of being watched and hunted within the supposed safety of your own home. The film follows a couple who are terrorised by masked intruders for no apparent reason, with the attackers' eerie claim and senseless violence making the situation all the more horrifying. The randomness of the attack is what makes it so terrifying. There's no motive, just pure evil at play. The idea that this could happen to anyone is what elevates The Strangers from a typical slasher film to a deeply disturbing and unsettling horror experience that truly gets under your skin. That's our top 10 horror films based on true events. Check out these other playlists if you like movie compilations, and don't forget to subscribe for more content coming soon.